start this off the right way. Welcome to Believers Talk, guys. My name is Joe. For those of you who don't know, we go live every Thursday night talking about Josh Allen's birthday, of course, having a couple cold ones for him. We're going to talk about the recent Embedded series, right? We have another Embedded show. We could talk about, review it. What did we learn from that Embedded series? Also, we could talk a little bit about Ed Oliver, some more news coming out about him, and also talk about the Murph, John Murphy. News about his contract, won't be hosting that radio show anymore. Will still be going on, just with a different host. But let's do this the right way. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this Thursday night live edition of Believers Talk, where we talk about the Buffalo Bills. We'll talk about Buffalo Bills. We posted a video earlier today about the Buffalo Sabres. We'll talk about the Buffalo Sabres. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Always happy to get back to you guys as I see angry Buffalo sports fan already in the room. Hey, good to see you in here, guys. I'll wait a little bit to start talking about things before I'm having a cold protein shake. I'm having a cold beer. Again, happy birthday, Josh Allen, right? Hey, Kevin, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Glad that you guys can make it. While you guys are coming in here, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Let me know that you like the content. Again, we go live every Thursday night at 9:30. So if you're not already subscribed to Believers Talk, guys, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out. Join the conversation. Always enjoy getting back to my commenters in the comment section on these Thursday night streams. Always a good time. So like I said, we are going to talk about the Embedded series. We are going to talk about some updates with Ed Oliver. What's going on with him? Anthony Smelly, how you doing? Good to see you in here as well. The regular clan rolling in here on this Thursday night. Guys, I'm excited to talk some Buffalo Bills football. Again, one of my favorite things to do throughout the week is to hang out with you guys for just a little bit, even during the offseason. A lot of fun. We know that OTAs is going on, and Ed Oliver is still at virtual OTAs. So does that have a hidden meaning? Who knows if I could talk through this, guys? A hidden meaning, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm trying to say. As far as coming forward with the suspension, the Bills have a plan for discipline for Ed Oliver. We'll see all what's in store for the Buffalo Bills when it comes to that. We'll talk about the embedded. Have you guys seen the Buffalo Bills embedded show YouTube thing this past time? This is the second year, I believe, that they've done that. And this year, we'll talk about it, we'll review it. I think last year we had a couple episodes of it, though, right? I think that's how that worked. This year, I only seen the one. I don't know if they're planning on showing more episodes of an embedded series or what's going on with that. But we'll talk about the one that we did see, talking about when they brought in A.J. Epineza, talk about when they brought in Zach Moss, talk about when they brought in Gabe Davis, and we get to see how they reacted to when they were drafted. I know on draft day, a lot of Bills fans were talking about maybe they're not that excited to be in Buffalo. I think that you guys, whoever said that, could be more wrong. I think they're excited to come to Buffalo because they realize that Buffalo is the place you want to be right now, because Buffalo is on the verge of something special. Buffalo is on the verge of something great. So I want to make sure that they are a part of it as well. This is the third year for Embedded, says Anthony. Yeah, so I love it. I think it's great to kind of give us a look into the Buffalo Bills process a little bit, look into what Brandon Beane and Coach McDermott are thinking. And this year, I feel like we got to see more from the assistant coaches as well. Brian Dable, Leslie Frazier. We got to see a little personality from Leslie Frazier when A.J. Epineza was sitting there talking about Von Miller and how he emulates his game after Von Miller. You saw that strip sack during the Super Bowl that he didn't even realize Coach McDermott was the defensive coordinator. Brandon Beane was the assistant GM of the Carolina Panthers at that time. And you hear Leslie Frazier say, well, your draft stock just went down. Kind of a funny exchange there. And you hear Brandon Beane talk about Leslie Frazier and how he's not this quiet guy that everyone seems to think he is on Sundays. And so there are definitely things we want to talk about in the Embedded series. I want to know what stuck out most to you guys. What did you guys take away from the Embedded series this year? What were some of your favorite moments during this episode? Hey, Brian, how you doing? Good to see you. They released the whole season last year. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought they released the whole season at one time, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if they're doing it like week by week with the quarantine going on. Not like we have much else to do, so they know we're getting amped to watch it again. So we'll see when we get the other shows. Obviously, if we get the next one out before next week, we'll review that one too, and we'll continue to review them as they come out. But yeah, there's definitely some takeaways just fun to watch, right? This is the first embedded series that did not include Pancho Villa, of course. Pancho Villa dying a year ago last Thursday, so still condolences out to his family. The backpack thing still going strong, still donations being accepted for backpacks for kids, so make sure you get a chance to do that. Zach Moss seems like the perfect fit for our culture, absolutely. I love what he said. I mean, it almost seemed like he was getting emotional when one of the coaches asked him what's one of the things he likes the least about football, and he said nothing. He likes it all about football. Talking about his MCL tear from the previous season and how he thought the game was taken away from him, and just the joys that he gets now knowing that he still gets to play the game that he loves. Hey Nate, how you doing? Welcome to Billievers Talk. Again, guys, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, be sure to hit that thumbs up button as you're getting in here. I can't even see right now how what's going on with this channel. I hope that I'm being, you can see me and hear me well. Let me know if you're having any problems with the audio or anything like that, and I will be sure to try to fix it for you. But again, guys, thank you for joining me. Kevin, I see that you're in the room. What happened with Trent Murphy? Did I say something about Trent Murphy? I'm sorry. I meant John Murphy. Hey Ronald, good to see you in here. As far as Trent Murphy, I don't think anything happens. Is that what my thumbnail says? I wouldn't be surprised if I messed it up, because that's kind of what I do. But as far as Trent Murphy, nothing happened. It's the Murph on WGR 550. His show has actually, he hasn't been picked up for the next season of his daily radio show. And today, I think today was his last episode. Now, he will still be the radio host of the play-by-play and he coming with a chip on his shoulder. That's what you heard a lot during the embedded series. I'll get to that in a second. I always switch in between thoughts, so I want to get to one thing at a time. But Kevin asked what happened to Trent Murphy. I don't think anything's happened with Trent Murphy yet. The John Murphy over on WGR, the radio host of the weekly Buffalo Bills Live show, he's actually leaving. He will still be the host of the play-by-play, at least for this season. When I read the article, it said that John Murphy is contracted through an outside vendor for the play-by-play, and it's a yearly contract. So we'll see what happens in following seasons. But at least for this year, the Murph is still the play-by-play guy for all Buffalo Bills games. Bianco, we're really looking at Gabe Davis from the early stages of the draft process, being wanted Davis to run slow. So he has. You saw that it was like, oh, please run a 4.45 or something like that, 4.54, I should say. But going back to the embedded series, one thing that you heard a lot of is you heard Brandon Beane when he was talking to AJ Epinez on the phone saying, I don't know why you dropped this far, but make sure you have a chip on your shoulder to prove the other teams wrong. He talked about with Zach Moss, he talked about with Gabe Davis, you heard him talk about chip on your shoulder. You saw Jake Fromm, it was the first year I saw Jake Fromm, his reaction to being drafted by the Buffalo Bills, talking with Brandon Beane about being drafted, and how excited he was to come to Buffalo. Gabe Davis said that this is one of the places he wanted because the Buffalo Bills obviously wanted him. So that's exciting to see as well. I love watching, again, getting a little behind the scenes look at what goes on at One Bills Drive, or in this case, in the living rooms of the GMs and of the head coaches as they take a look at these players. You saw what someone were thinking at the combine, and as Brandon Beane always says, they go by the tape first. I think he's made that pretty clear with his time at GM. Hey, Truth to Hearts, glad that you were in here. Glad that you guys could all join me again. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, be sure to hit that thumbs up button as you guys are joining me. And again, I always enjoy these Thursday nights. Not a lot to talk about during the off season sometimes, but still enjoy hanging out with you guys and talking with you guys about some Buffalo Bills sports. So we talk about the embedded series, right? You also talk about John Murphy, his contract with WGR running out on the daily Bills Live show that he does on the radio. Now that will still be going on. It will just be hosted by two different hosts. I believe that there's a young lady, Gabe, I forget her name. She's on Twitter a lot, and she also was a fill-in for the Murph when he was in. So she'll be running the show a little bit. And also there's another gentleman that might be hosting a show as well. As I was reading the article, I kind of skimmed through the names. So the Live Bills weekly radio show will still be going on, just different hosts. Ronald Enix, spike that likes, absolutely. This is our year, says Ronald Enix. I hope so. I hope that every single year. But yeah, I would love to see the Buffalo Bills make make a run at the postseason and make a good run towards the Super Bowl ring, right? Now, if this year's not our year, and it's funny, like, I want to say that we have a good shot to win the Super Bowl, and we do. We have a really good shot to make some noise in the playoffs, but you just never know what's going to happen, right? Excuse me, Josh Allen gets injured during training camp. God forbid that happen, but obviously that changes our expectations for the season, right? And Oliver gets suspended for the whole year for some odd reason. Maybe he does something else, and it's his second strike, so he gets a year suspension instead of just 2 games. That changes our expectations a little bit of how good this defense is going to be. So with each action, there's a change in expectations. There needs to be a change in expectations. Remember last year in training camp, we had a big issue with offensive linemen going down. We had, Mitch Morse go down with a concussion. We had Adrian Waddle go down. He was out for the season. So these things continue to happen, and you know that at some point injuries are going to happen. They happen to every team every year. It seems like the teams that do the best are the teams that seem to avoid hear them all that much, because during the regular season, you guys already know what it is. If you would rather, you can listen to either myself or the guys over at #sports. We split up the year last year. We'll probably do the same thing again this year. Split up the regular season and do live play-by-play and reaction. This way, you guys get to join the conversation. You guys get to have a little fun as well and talk about the game. You can watch it with us while you're watching at home and listen to us chat, and you can chat with us, or you can watch it with us over on Sportscaster, right? We do the live play-by-play on YouTube and Sportscaster, but Sportscaster has copyright rights to the games, so we can film the games on Sportscaster. At least we were able to last year. Hopefully that's still the case this year, to give you guys the best Buffalo Bills content we can. Again, either right here on Billievers Talk, or check out #sports as well. We probably have the best 53-man roster, says Truth to Hearts. Well, it's a 55-man roster now, so it's even a little bit better, get a little more depth. I think our roster will have the best continuity. Well, between bringing back a lot of the same players from last year and us continually signing Carolina Panthers players, it gives us a little bit of an edge up when it comes to the continuity department, right? I mean, you think about last year, we had 9 new starters on offense to start the season. This year, our whole offensive line seems like they're staying intact. Obviously, we know our quarterback's still intact. Our running back, Devin Singletary, is back. We have 2 wide receivers who were there last year, Cole Beasley, John Brown. We do add Stephon Diggs. So even the players that we add, seems like it just makes this team better. So if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you have to be excited about that. You have to be excited about the prospect this year of having a good season. That defense, nothing really changed, right? You lose Lorenzo Alexander, so obviously how Klein does is a huge factor going forward for the Buffalo Bills. But other than that, you figure most of your key pieces are still intact, so you gotta love to see that. You still have Trey White. You actually improved the cornerback 2 position, so that's a great thing. Thomas Camp coming in here, talking about his blow-up doll not being able to make the roster. In previous seasons, Thomas Camp's blow-up doll might have been able to make a 55-man roster. They might have found a spot for it. And I don't want to say him or her, because he's never revealed gender. He's very, 21st century, no gender, no, you don't want to use the gender pronouns, because blow-up dolls might get offended, and he doesn't want to do that. But I don't think this year the blow-up doll has a chance to make the roster. Yvonne, how you doing? Glad to see you in here. What nickname should our defense have? Killer. Just killer. Just killer. They're killing it. Killing time. Miller time. Killing time, that's all I'm saying. I don't think the NFL would be appreciative of that, but I'll say it. I don't care. Do you think our defense deserves a nickname? We'll call it McDonald's. No, not McDonald's. We'll call it Nike. Just do it. Or we call it McDonald's. I'm loving it. Whatever you want to do. Whatever nickname you want to call it. Female, says Thomas Camp. I don't want to judge, Thomas. That's all I'm saying. I was just over on Buffalo Fanatics and said I think Josh Norman will be the comeback player of the year. Ronald, I know that a lot of people are excited about Josh Norman, and I think he's going to do better this year than he did for Washington. I'm not denying that one bit. But think about the players, and I think we talked about this last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. Think about the players that will be eligible for comeback player of the year. You got Ben Roethlisberger, right? He's obviously going to be a big candidate for comeback player of the year. You got Matthew Stafford. If he puts up strong numbers, he will be a strong candidate for comeback player of the year. Those are 2 quarterbacks, and obviously you're going to want, you have Rob Gronkowski. That's kind of a big name too that you don't want to forget. And normally when it comes to those type of awards, the NFL is gonna favor the offensive position. So even though I think Josh Norman's gonna have a big year, and I hope that he has a comeback of the year type season, I don't think they're gonna give it to him just because you have so many other players that go to. J.J. Watt, if you're talking defense, you have so many other players that could potentially go to. This is going to be a strong year for comeback player of the year. So I don't think Josh Norman is going to get the consideration he deserves when it comes to comeback player of the year. But I do think he's going to have a strong year. I do think he's going to come back, not exactly to a form that he was a few seasons ago with Coach McDermott in Carolina when he was the defensive coordinator. But I think he's going to be solid. And I think that teams are going to have a hard time throwing to the wide receiver number 2 position, which is going to be very hard on wide receiver number 1s, although we are playing some very explosive offenses this season. So normally they're able to find weapons somewhere in there. I don't know why I just have that feeling. And as for Rob Gronk goes, I don't think his steroid level will be high enough to make him perform that well. You have to remember what situation Gronkowski's coming into, right? You look at the wide receivers in Tampa Bay. Rob Gronkowski might be one of those guys, kind of like we're hoping Dawson Knox is for the Buffalo Bills. Might be a forgotten target, so to speak, for Tampa Bay. They have 3 tight ends, so you think maybe that some of those receptions might go the other way. But out of everyone on that offense, who is Tom Brady most comfortable with? Rob Gronkowski. So especially early on, I would expect to see heavy targets going Rob Gronkowski's way. We'll see what happens. Are we going to have a season? Absolutely. If you look at what's been going on, especially over the past week, some states opening back up, definitely looking optimistic that we're going to have a season. Now, obviously, if for some reason the numbers spike, and again, guys, I hope you guys are being careful, staying safe, whatever that means for you, where you are. Excuse me, I wish you nothing but the best. As far as your safety. But again, I think there's definitely going to be a season. I think that we've seen some big strides from this country as far as getting things back together. John Cusado, give me a second here. John, you ask, how stupid are these players that drive intoxicated and don't learn from other people's mistakes? Well, again, you have to remember that these guys have been quarantined too for a long time. And hopefully Ed Oliver just learns from this, right? Hopefully this isn't. I think we well says Ron Enix about having a season. Yeah, I think so too. But hopefully Ed Oliver learns from this. I mean, obviously the big news as far as the Ed Oliver case is concerned, his arraignment date was set. So his arraignment date is actually now listed as August 11th. They're just going to make mistakes, says Ron. Yeah, and that's the problem. And you want to make sure that you recognize the severity of his mistake, right? You don't want to minimize the severity of his mistake and just say, oh, he's young, yada, yada. Again, this had the potential to be a very big mistake. This had the potential to be a life-altering mistake. Let's say someone had gotten injured or worse, killed by his actions. Then you have a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, however old he is, instead of just making a mistake that might cost him a fine by both the league and by the law enforcement, and possibly some community service time, which he already does with the Buffalo Bills anyway, and a couple suspensions. Instead of that, you're talking about a much more severe penalty. Obviously, NFL would be the least of his worries at that point. So I'm glad that no one got hurt. Obviously, you don't want to take the severity of the situation lightly and just say, oh, he's young, he makes mistakes. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if this guy was 21 or 50, right? Someone gets caught for DWI, has no priors, anything like that. Okay, he made a mistake. Let's say that's what it was. And, he gets punished for it, just like you would. But I believe your punishment gets harsher when it's the second or third offense compared to the first offense and no one getting injured. So glad no one got hurt. His arraignment date set for August 11th. So August 11th, obviously a key thing for the Buffalo Bills. I actually hope that he pleads guilty, right? Just clean this up, put it under the carpet. I know some people are saying if he pleads not guilty, it prolongs the process, and maybe he won't get suspended at the beginning of the season. Well, why do you want that lingering throughout the season? Why do you want him saying, hey, coach, I got him as practice, I got a court date? Why do you want that? You don't want that. You don't want him to have to go through that. You don't want him to have his mind anywhere else. Come out. You obviously did something, right? Maybe you can get the sentence reduced, right? And hopefully his attorney is working on that as we speak. But I just think that it's best for him to come out and say, you know what, I plead guilty. I did these things. I'll face my punishment, and then we'll move on. Again, I don't want this to be drawn out no more than you guys do. I don't want him to be suspended. I don't want him to be suspended for the first 2 games of the season. I don't want him missing divisional matchups. I don't. But I also don't want him to make this mistake. But I also don't want people getting hurt because of other people's mistakes. And I don't care if you're a football player or you're a civilian. When you make a mistake, you make a mistake, and you have to live with those consequences. So I hope Ed Oliver, unless there's some deal that's going on behind our backs that we obviously will not know about, which is fine, I hope Ed Oliver comes out and just simply says, you know what, I am guilty of the charges here. Let me face my punishment, because that to me is growth. That is what growth is, admitting your faults and living with the consequences. Don't be like, no, I can get this reduced. Even though, yeah, I did commit that crime. I did do that. Let me try to get this reduced the best I can because I deserve that. No, you don't. You deserve the punishment that's handed to you by the court system, by the justice system, by the NFL, and potentially by the Buffalo Bills. I don't understand when did this happen, this sense of entitlement. Oh, he's a great player, so we need to remember that first. No, he put people at risk. We need to remember that first. And then remember, you know what, he's young, he's going to make mistakes. And then remember, he deserves forgiveness. And then remember that we got his back. I have his back, right? I have Ed Oliver's back. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve another chance on this team. I'm not saying he deserves to be suspended for 6 games. I'm saying he made a mistake. Come out, say you're guilty. Prove that you're growing. That's what this is. 73,000 blow-up dolls. Those are the fans. We'll put like now Thomas, this might upset you if we put like speakers in their mouth because then their mouths won't be open for other things. But we'll put speakers in their mouths, and then people from like you can have it set to radio so you can hit like a cheer button or a boo button, right? And then that will be what happens. So, but if I don't think we're gonna have fans in the stands for at least the first 6 weeks of the NFL season. To be honest with you. Ronald says, I wasn't saying don't punish him. There should be repercussions. I was just saying he's young, and young people make bad decisions on a consistent basis until they learn how to act. And part of learning how to act is admitting your faults, right? So I feel like I really want him come August 11th at his arraignment to come out and say, you know what, I'm guilty. I'm sorry. Let me face my punishment. He's not looking at jail time, right? It's not like you can try to get jail time down. He's looking at the difference between 20,000 hours of customer service, you know what I'm trying to say, guys, community service, or 10,000 hours of community service. And again, you're doing community service already because you're part of an NFL team, and they go out, they do the Run Kids 60, which I don't run anymore ever. I just drink beer. Rich G, I'm glad you like that. That's pretty much as PG-13 or maybe even close to that orange I'm going to get for quite some time talking about stuff like that. But I'm glad you guys enjoyed that little comment. But anyhow, so that's how I feel about Ed Oliver. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you agree with me that, I want him to plead guilty? Again, if he pleads, I don't want this going into the regular season with this hanging over his head and having his mind somewhere else, right? Listen, I do a terrible job at work because my mind's always somewhere else, okay? And I'm sure that my performance suffers from it. In the NFL, you don't want that to happen. As a Bills fan, I don't want that to happen. I want to be able to say Ed Oliver is focused on being the best football player he can be, right? When he comes back from a suspension, I want to be focused on being the best player he can be and not still have this lingering over his head. And so that's personally what I want. But let me know if you agree in the comment section. Would you rather him plead guilty and get the punishment over with, or would you rather have it linger? What if he gets suspended week 10 then, right? They misses weeks 11 and 12, or misses weeks 13, 14. Yvonne says guilty for sure. Again, he obviously did something. Now, if the police are trying to accuse you, like if you didn't have a gun in the car and they're trying to give you a gun charge and it wasn't your gun, or you didn't know it was there, or you feel like they planted it on you, or whatever the case might be, then yeah, plead not guilty. If you did not commit the crime, plead not guilty. It reminds me of a story. One time I was driving in New Jersey, and I was on the turnpike and I was going like 92 miles an hour is what they clocked me at. And he pulled me over, and I got the ticket. And yeah, it wasn't a low number as far as ticket. Now, luckily, since I don't live in New Jersey, the points didn't count against my license, so that was cool. Since I live in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and not a state, but so that was awesome. However, when I came back to Pennsylvania, people were like, "Oh, you fight it, get it reduced." I'm like, "Why? I did it. I did it. Like, I can't say I didn't do it. I did it." And so I get it reduced. By the time I went back to New Jersey to get reduced, came back home, it probably cost me the same amount of money to get reduced. So, I mean, why plead guilty, or why plead not guilty when you know you did it? When you know you did something, face the consequences. But, does Phillips take Oliver's spots when he's out on suspension? Asked John. I think it's going to be a rotation, right? The Buffalo Bills are great. The Bills coaching staff, whether it be Coach McDermott or whether it be Coach Leslie Frazier, they're great at rotating, right? So you're going to have Star Latuile in there. Now, Star Latuile more than likely is going to play the right side of the defensive tackles. And yeah, Harrison Phillips will get some side at the left. And then you brought in Vernon Butler, so he's going to play defensive tackle. He's going to rotate in. He's probably going to rotate in Star's spot. And then I expect them to bring back like a Corey Liuget type guy, or Liuget, however you say his name before, type guy who could just fill that spot. Fill that spot for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then rotate him, right? Keep him as fresh as you can. I think that's what the Buffalo Bills are going to do. But yeah, Harrison Phillips is obviously the first choice when it comes to starting while Ed Oliver is suspended, if he does get suspended. And that's another thing about pleading guilty that people are underestimating, right? If he pleads guilty, maybe this new arbitrator, instead of Raj Goodell, maybe this new arbitrator says, okay, he's fessing up to his mistakes. He's dealing with the consequences like a man. He's not trying to hide. He's not pulling and I'll pull this name on my hat. I don't care. He's going to be mad at me. He's not pulling an Ezekiel Elliott saying, I didn't do anything. Oh, no, I'm innocent of everything. Oh, don't suspend me. Oh, I'm the victim. No, I want to plead guilty. Deal with consequences. Show that you're growing up. Show that you're maturing. And maybe the new advocate will say, you know what, I see that. So I am going to lighten your sentence because you're dealing with the consequences. And so here's some of the consequences. It's going to be less than what would have been if you were trying to get away with something. And maybe that's the case. We don't know. We don't know what this new arbitrator is going to do. So I think there are some pros to simply on August 11th, Ed Oliver coming out and saying, hey, I'm sorry, I did it. I shouldn't have done it. It got a little out of hand. I was driving my dune buggy or whatever, and I was drinking a little bit more than I thought I was. Whatever. I'm sorry. Simple. So that's what I hope. Hold yourself accountable, says Ronald Yanks. Exactly, absolutely. Honestly, wouldn't it be interesting if the NFL do what the XFL did without fans, let the media be on the sidelines and ask dumb questions? No, it wouldn't be interesting at all, because what happened with that is the XFL didn't have their finger on the censor button quick enough for, I think, one of the interviews on week 1, and you had this guy with like 3-4 F-bombs on network television. It was kind of a big deal. It would have been a bigger deal if, fans were watching the XFL, but luckily for us, no one did. And that's why they're no longer here. So, and the COVID virus, which again is terrible. And I wish you all nothing but health and happiness when it comes to that. But they're no longer here for a reason. So, yeah, speaking of the NFL, they did present some potential rule changes, and they are thinking about adding a booth review official up in the booth. So that's something they are considering as well. So that way they can ring down to the referees, which they had before. The NFL had this system before, kind of like college did, where you had officials up in the booth who can just kind of ring you in when they thought something needed to be reviewed. Now, back then, they did not have coaches challenges as well. So maybe this time, if they do coaches challenges and have that official up there in the booth, maybe they'll get it right. But they're trying to make it better. But then you ask, is it making it better? If I see review every 5th play, is it making it better? The pass interference review turned out to be a bad idea, and the NFL is quickly getting away from that. So what's going to happen here? They seem to want to practice it during preseason. It doesn't make sense to me. How often do you see review in preseason? Honestly, I hate reviews. I hate them even more in preseason. What's the point? Just get on with the game. Move things along. I know you want to see if it works right, but listen, we've been doing this long enough. We know that it doesn't work right. We know whenever the NFL wants to make changes, it's not going to work. Welcome to the NFL. Let me get to some of your comments. A Sky Judge, yeah, Thomas Camp, that's what they're looking to do. How do coaches handle Oliver's situation? I actually, and this is me personally, and maybe someone in the comment section, I haven't heard anything from Coach McDermott, Brandon Beane, or Leslie Frazier about Ed Oliver's situation, and you know what? I love that. They handled it in-house, is what they did. What was said between Coach McDermott and Ed Oliver, I don't know. I'm never going to know. And so this is something I've never understood about a lot of fans, and maybe it just had a lot to do with him winning so much. A lot of fans gave Bill Belichick such a hard time and made fun of Bill Belichick so much because of the fact that he doesn't give media a lot of things to work with. And, I always loved that about Bill Belichick. Now, I don't like the fact that the New England Patriots keep winning. I don't like the fact that they're always seemingly better than us, but I like that about Bill Belichick. Like, why do I want to give you media people anything so you can blow it out of proportion, right? I think that that's what we need more of. This is a team sport. When a team member messes up, you address it as a team. Listen, I'm a supervisor where I work, okay? And when someone screws up, I send them an email simply saying, hey, don't do this. I don't blast that email out to everyone unless in the office, unless it has to be, something that is taken care of in the office. This is not something that needs to be taken care of with other people. And I definitely don't blast the email to other offices, in the building, because they don't have anything to do with that. So I like this being kept in-house. I haven't heard anything. I don't want to hear anything. Brandon Beane probably called Coach McDermott, said, you handle it. And Coach McDermott says, I got this. And if Ed Oliver gives him a hard time, listen, Coach McDermott used to be a wrestler. He'll take him down. I still think he could take him down. And I look forward to seeing that. I would love to see Coach McDermott take down Ed Oliver. Down for the count. Down goes Oliver. Yeah, that reminds me of during the Combine. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. But during the Combine, while they were talking to Brandon Beane, and I think this is in the embedded series, actually, Coach McDermott came up and said, asked a question, acting like a reporter. What do you think about your coach's athletic ability? It was kind of funny. They all got a good laugh out of it, so that's good. Rich G, thank you for the $10 donation. Rich G coming in hot, saying 12-4 this year, Buffalo fans. It's been a long time coming. Get ready, sports world. Buffalo is going to be a serious problem this year. Smash that like button if you agree. I agree. I can't the like button. They don't let you like your own. Like, listen, I'm so self-absorbed. I like myself so much, I'll hit the like button. But they don't let me do it. They don't let me do it. I don't understand it. I mean, let's be honest. I'm pretty awesome in everything I do. So you got to hit that like button. But they don't let me do it. YouTube is smart enough to know, hey, we don't want this guy messing with the algorithm, because I'll hit that like button all day and say like. But thank you again, Rich G, for the donation. 12-4. I think I said 11-5 actually. I think I had us going 6-2 at home, 5-3 on the road. So I said 11-5. Obviously, when the season gets closer, we'll do an actual prediction show and see how I think the Buffalo Bills will fare. You know that I've said on this channel, now that I know that Bills game against the Chiefs is the Thursday night game, I expect us to win that game. I really do. I expect the Buffalo Bills to win that Thursday night game. Again, more than 60% of home teams win those Thursday night games since they've started being like all season long. Don't know what the numbers said, like Thanksgiving games prior to that, but since they've been doing these Thursday night games every single week, they've been like over 60% of the home teams won. So you have to keep that in mind. Off to Cincinnati, Bill, Supervisor Joe, team meeting. Yeah, they don't want those team meetings. When they see an email that says, guys, we need to have a team meeting, no one wants to show up. I don't want to show up, but I have to. So it is what it is, guys. Again, 1911 cider, if you're a cider fan, really good, and it's from New York. I believe it's from, I'll tell you in a second, I believe it's from, I don't remember, Lafayette, New York, I believe. Hold on, I'll get it. Hey, grab the map, that's what you got. Yeah, Lafayette, New York. Look at me remembering shit. That Thursday night game is on my birthday. Hey, I think were you the one on the stream yesterday with Dan saying that you got tickets to that game as a birthday present? First of all, great birthday present. Secondly, as Dan said, hopefully the Bills come through and win that game for us. Win that game for you on your birthday. Speaking of birthdays, guys, whose birthday is it today? Hit that like button if you want to wish Josh Allen a happy birthday. If you haven't already, guys, Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen celebrating his 24th birthday today. So happy birthday, Josh Allen. I'm sure you're never going to watch this, but if you do, happy birthday. This one's for you. Truth Art says the only game I'm worried about is the 49ers. The Chiefs' defense ain't elite, and I know our defense can hold them to 25. And listen, I think the Bills' offense is going to have to score more than 25 in every game. Every game, except for maybe that Niners game. But if there's a game you're going to lose, Rich said, no, I wish I was going. Hey, it's still early. It's still early. Hold your hopes. But hey, again, I don't think there's going to be crowd involvement until week 6. So we'll see what type of crowd involvement there will be for that Buffalo Bills game. I hope Josh Allen ain't hanging out with that Oliver. Happy birthday to me. He's probably doing, well, if he's hanging out with them, Uber, Lyft, cab companies still exist, I believe, but you can do other things than drive. Josh Allen, there's no reason for you to be carrying a gun because you got that offensive line taking care of you. So if you're hanging out with Ed Oliver, hang out with the offensive line as well. So that way there's no reason for you to carry a gun. You don't need it. And if you hang out with Ed Oliver, there's obviously no reason for you to be carrying a gun. He's got you covered. All right, he's got you covered. It's G, happy birthday, Ed Oliver. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, our star quarterback celebrating his birthday today, and hopefully he's our star quarterback for a long time. I actually saw on CBS Sports today they did a best 25 players under the age of 25. At first, I was upset because I didn't see Tre'Davious White on that list, but then I realized Tre'Davious White is 25 years old, so that is why he is not one of the best players under 25 years old, because he's over 25, turned 25 in January, so I wasn't as mad. So, it is what it is. I don't know if he was on the list last year. He should have been, because obviously he's the best cornerback in the game in all of our opinions. So what did we talk about? The beers are on Josh. My wallet didn't say so, but I'll check my wallet again. I'll check the receipt. I think it gave me an amount. I think there was a dollar sign and an amount after it, but we'll see. We'll see if they're on Josh or not. I don't remember. But what did we talk about? We talked about the embedded series. Again, some of my takeaways from the embedded series, I don't know if we got into this fully or not. So first of all, again, I'm not sure if there's going to be more episodes to come. Last year, I think the year before, they had a couple episodes, right? 3, 4, 5 episodes in the embedded series. I've only seen the one. Let me know in the comment section if there's more than one and I just haven't pulled it out. I don't like to predict direct. What are predictions? It's like predicting the season schedule, right? Like, they're not going to come true. Even if you pick the right record, you're going to get some of the games wrong. Injuries are going to happen. It's just, just for fun, I guess. So we'll see what happens. But I've only seen the one embedded series and the one embedded show so far, and I liked it. I thought they did a good job. Again, I always like them. I like seeing behind the scenes, so to speak, of what the Buffalo Bills, what Brandon Beane, what Coach McDermott are really looking into. I'd rather put out an embedded series every year than have to host Hard Knocks, okay? I never want to be the team that's featured on Hard Knocks on HBO. It just seems like those teams don't do well when the season starts. And not only that, like, I don't want, again, I want to be the New England Patriots of 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where nothing gets out. All of a sudden you see Tom Brady, he's going to have his own docu-series next year. Probably going to be a tell-all, right? I'm out from Belichick's wings. I can say whatever I want. He was on the Howard Stern show talking up a storm about his relationships and about what happened in the NFL and other things. And so, who knows what's going to happen in this docuseries. And listen, when Coach McDermott has led the Bills to 4 Super Bowl rings in 6 years, after that, you can talk about whatever you want. I don't care. I don't care what you talk about. You could say, hey, Coach McDermott was cheating on his wife from the whole beginning. Whatever, I don't care. With Ed Oliver, I don't care. With Thomas's blow-up doll, I really don't care. But after the 4 Super Bowls, after the 5 Super Bowls, whatever it is, happy birthday, Josh Allen, celebrate, but don't celebrate like Ed Oliver. Don't celebrate like it's 1999. It's not because in 1999, you were probably, well, let's do some quick math here. 1999 would have been 21 years. You were 3 years old. So you probably didn't party too hard then. So actually party like it's 1999 when you were 3. Go to bed. You're in bed right now. That's awesome. Good job. Way to party hard. But no, he's with Matt Barkley. He's with Gabe Davis. Gabriel Davis. He's with Zach Moss. Actually, they had a video of him, Zach Moss and him doing magic tricks together. So good for that. I mean, listen, whatever keeps you out of trouble, do your thing, right? And listen, during quarantine, you're going to be bored. So you do what you have to do. But yeah, so another thing I liked was Leslie Frazier's personality kind of showing again. When he's on the sideline on Sundays, you really don't see that. He seems quiet. Still, good to see him joking around with the coaching staff. Good to see Brian Dable on the offensive coaching staff again, talking to Gabriel Davis, talking to Zach Moss. Good to see that emotion from Zach Moss when asked what is his least favorite thing about playing football. I loved his answer, and that's the answer that I wish all the players would give. A lot of the players, you hear about a chip on their shoulder, whether it be AJ Epineza, whether it be Gabe Davis, whether it be Zach Moss. You talk about a chip on their shoulder. These guys have chips on their shoulder. I want to see how they respond to the 2020 NFL season. And that's really good, right? They're not buying the hype. AJ Epineza is saying, listen, if you thought I was this great, if everyone thought I was a draft steal, then why wasn't I drafted before the Buffalo Bills at pick 54? How did that happen? Right? Everyone's saying I was a steal. Well, how come I had to be stolen? Why did someone just take me? Zach Moss, he's not saying, hey, I was the fourth running back taken in the NFL draft. He's saying, why was I drafted fourth? Why wasn't I picked in the second round like DeAndre Swift? I like that. I like that chip on your shoulder. Remember that. Gabriel Davis isn't saying, hey, I was picked on early day 3 in a deep wide receiver class. He's saying, man, that could have been an easy day 2 pick. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Jake Fromm's coming in with something to prove. Oh, you think that I can't play football. Oh, you think I can't throw in heavy winds. You think my arm's weak. Let me show you something. You got the kicker coming in, Moss, coming in, having a competition immediately with one of the better kickers over the past decade, right? Let's not just look at the past year or two. Over the past decade, Stephen Hauschka has been one of Hausch Money. He got that nickname for a reason. He's coming in immediately with it in a kicking competition. Now, I think Moss is going to be our kicker in the future. I do. But he still has to win that job. If he comes out in tanks, then obviously Stephen Hauschka, his veteran ability, is going to take the spot. This is how it's going to work. So we're going to see what happens, but I like the fact that these kids are coming in with a chip on their shoulder. I like the fact that they give us a behind-the-scenes look with this embedded series. So again, I really like the embedded series. Let me know if you guys hear about more videos coming out. Again, I haven't yet. But that does not mean there's not more in the making. I love them, so I hope we keep doing that. And again, I hope this means that we don't have to do Hard Knocks anytime soon. John comes in, and says, I like to see Brandon Beane be the general manager of the Sabres and Bills. I think he's that good that I can do both jobs and do it well. Well, the good news about GM is you only have to know so much about the sport you do. Brandon Beane has a great football mind. How that translates in the NFL, I don't know. Or NHL, I don't know. I don't think it does. But then again, we have a soccer coach as our head coach right now. So obviously that doesn't matter too much. But I would love to see the Buffalo Sabres get and I think yesterday or today is Betterell's, the Sabres GM's birthday as well. So happy birthday to him. I'm not the biggest fan of what he's done to our team. But I don't think he's done much to improve our team over the years. But again, there's still time to grow. Obviously, all you have is time right now. The NHL, if you didn't see earlier, I posted a video on the Buffalo Sabres. The NHL coming up with maybe a 24-team format to continue the NHL season. Unfortunately, the Sabres would miss out on that. But at least they're trying to get it going. And listen, I'm a hockey fan, kind of like I'm a football fan. If football's on, I'm watching it, right? If the Bills are on, obviously that's first and foremost. That's what I'm watching. But if football's on, I'm watching it. I love football. Right now, my TV is on ESPN. They're re-showing the Clemson-Alabama game from 2017, maybe. So I'm looking up and watching that from time to time because I just love football that much. And I feel the same way about hockey. If a hockey game's on, I'm going to watch it. If it's the Sabres, then obviously that takes precedence. But if hockey's on, I'm going to watch it. So hopefully the Sabres can get things turned around. Hopefully we could be one of the top 12 teams in our conference at some point. I would love that. But maybe we can get lucky, win the lottery this year, and get some good talent to help Jack Eichel. Maybe get a good goaltender in there between the pipes so we can not worry about what happens there. But you can't always blame the goaltender. Look at our defense, putting our goalie in tough situations a lot. Omar can't do it all. So I think there's a lot of blame to go around in Buffalo, but not Jack Eichel. It's Jack Eichel and the rest of the guys, right? Jack Eichel led the team in goals, led the team in assists, had a good plus-minus, had a positive plus-minus, one of the few teams that did have a plus in the plus-minus column, so that's good to see as well. I would love to see Sabres and Bills have a cross uniform, Bills with Sabres colors and Sabres with Bills colors. That'd be cool if they did that. I just saw someone tweet about, they put NBA uniforms on, like classic NBA uniforms on, I believe it was NBA or NFL players, something like that. I thought it was pretty cool to see. Jose, welcome to Bills Mafia. Absolutely, baby, in the house. We are the beast of the East. That is a fact. I did see that Buffalo Fanatics did do a video on the Jets and the state of the AFC East. Right now on paper, but again, it's on paper. You can't say we're the beast of the East until we win the Eastern Conference, or the East Division, right? So we can say what we want in preseason. But when was the last time the Bills won the division? 1995? How can we say we're anything, if we haven't won the division in 25 years? We can't. We could say right now we're the best team in the East on paper. But now this team needs to know that they have to prove it. We can say all we want right here. Vegas put the odds wherever they want. As long as in that locker room, they're saying, no, we need to earn it. All right? The media is beginning to respect the Buffalo Bills. 4 primetime games, the Chiefs, the Steelers, the 49ers, and the Patriots. 4 primetime games, 2 Monday Night Football games. We're beginning to get that respect. But do you know how respect is lost? If you don't earn it. All right? So we earned it last year. We beat Dallas in Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. We beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football. We earned it. Now keep it. Keep it. That's what you need to do. Cleveland earned the idea that they were going to be good last year. They earned it because during the offseason, they were a great team on paper. Bringing Odell Beckham. You have Jarvis Landry, bring him in. You have Chubb. You have Baker Mayfield, who had a great rookie season. They got 4 primetime games last year. What happened? How many primetime games do they have this year? I honestly don't know the answer to that. But I don't think it's 4. So you do have to take all those things in consideration. Yes, Jose de Bills Mafia, and thank you for the comment. I'm not sure if you commented on it before, but I always enjoy seeing comments. So thank you for the comment. I want us to be the beast of the East. I do. And during the season, I'm going to say that. I'm going to talk a big game. I'm going to talk a lot of trash and say, listen, we're the best team, not in the East, potentially in the NFL. But what they have to do is they have to go out on that field and earn it. They stunk the year before. How did they earn it? Hey, I don't know how they earned it. No idea. But did they have 4 primetime games? They did. That's all I'm saying. Baker Mayfield had a great rookie season. Baker Mayfield, all the rookies that year, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen, and Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson. Baker Mayfield had the best rookie season. So maybe that's how they earned it. They earned it by signing some key marquee players in the offseason. That's how they earned it. But they didn't prove it. And look where they are now. So last year's Thanksgiving game would have made a nice Super Bowl win. Yeah, we haven't had the best of luck with Dallas in Super Bowls. So to beat them in a Super Bowl would be nice. Nice little bit of revenge. But they get to keep their Super Bowls no matter what happens. So unfortunately for that. But hey, we'll see what happens. We are the debt collectors. You got to pay your bills. Hey, I'm a fan of that. I like it. We're coming to collect some debts. You know, we've been laying down for this league for far too long, and now it's our turn to collect on some debts. I'm a fan of that. Let's do it, and let's do it early, and let's do it often, right? I don't know about Ed Oliver's status for that Week 1 game against the Jets, but we need to win that one. I don't know about his status for the Week 2 game against the Dolphins in Miami. You need to win it. Start 2-0, because it starts with winning your division. Win your division, then we can talk about January. Then we can talk about potentially February, right? That's where it starts. To be the man, you got to beat the man. You just want me to go nuts, don't you? You just want me to go nuts. You want me to chug this beer and jump through this table and do my best Ric Flair impressions. I'm not there yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's a lot going on in Buffalo, right? I mean, you talk about that embed series, you talk about John Murphy, you talk about Ed Oliver, unfortunately, that situation. You talk about some of the rule changes going on in the NFL. I was not privy to that information. I was not in the coach's room when they handed out the rule changes or potential rule changes. So we'll see what those are at the league meeting. We know that they're having virtual OTAs right now in Buffalo and across the league. So not sure what those look like, but at least we know these rookies are getting in there, getting the playbooks, getting their hands dirty, getting some knowledge about what's going on. We know that Josh Allen met with 3 of the rookies on offense. Hopefully someone's meeting with Epineza. We know that we see Moss kicking the ball, kicking the heck out of the ball, so we'll see what happens. Walk a straight line. No one's making me, right? I mean, if you want to see a video of me walking in a straight line and get a cop to the house, and then I'll be on TMZ like Ed Oliver was, and then we'll see what happens. I don't like all the media attention. Prefer the Bills to be under the radar. Well, you think about the Patriots 2 years ago, I believe it was. They entered the playoffs. Somehow Bill Belichick had them convinced that they were underdogs. I don't care what the media says. I really don't care what we say. What I care about is what is Coach McDermott, what is the coaching staff, what is the feeling inside that locker room? What are they telling the guys? Are they saying, hey, guys, we're going to have a good year this year? And this is what I believe Coach McDermott is saying. Guys, if we do what we should be doing, then we have a chance to have a good season. Do your job. That's what matters. Do your job. Don't let the media do the job for you. Don't let Joe from Billievers talk you up and let him do the job for you. Don't let someone talk a game for you that you can't back up. Back it up. Don't let the NFL say you won the preseason, the offseason. What's that matter? What matters is rings. What matters is trophies. That's what Coach McDermott wants. I think about what's that? Moneyball. Brad Pitt. Beginning of this movie. What does he say to his GM? My bar is here. There's nothing else. And that's what Coach McDermott needs to tell his team. Win the AFC East, that's nice. That's the start. That's where it starts. Making it to the AFC Championship game, that's cute. That's nice. That's a nice stepping stone. But my bar is at Super Bowl wins. That's my bar. That's what Coach McDermott needs to be saying to his team. That's what Brian Dable needs to be saying to his team. That's what Leslie Frazier needs to be driving home with his team. That's what veteran teammates need to be saying to these rookies. What's your job, Juan? What's your job? I don't mind. Jose comes in and says, Bill Cheat, 12 games below 500 without Brady. We will not lose a game in our division until we rest our stars at the end of the season. Love to go 6-0 against our division. And you know what? I want to win that Week 17 game. Again, last 2 seasons, 4-4 at home. Last year, one of the only reasons why we went 4-4 at home is because we rested everyone for that last game against the New Jersey Jets. And I just want us to be able to have a winning. I wanted us to be 5-3 at home. Prove that you're better at home. Prove that you're dangerous at home. Now, I know it doesn't affect the standings. I hope that doesn't affect the standings this coming year. I hope that we go in there, we're 14-1, winning we already won the 1 seed in the AFC. Does not matter. Rest your stars. But for 14-1, I'm pretty sure our home record is going to be pretty good at that point. So I want to see that as well. But yeah, I saw someone just say, Daniel comes in. There's going to be some tough cuts this year. And some of you might not be happy. And there's going to be some trades this year. You know, I was thinking about possibly a trade for, and I heard Dan talk about yesterday in Dan Mitchell's show. And if you're not a fan over Dan Mitchell, Don Mafia, check him out. Goes live every Wednesday. So check that out. Always a good view. But anyhow, possibly trading Steven Hauschka. Not a crazy idea. Let's say we could trade Steven Hauschka for a seventh. A seventh. That's nothing, right? But we get an extra draft pick. Get an extra draft pick, we now have 2 7s. Trade that into a 6th. And you say, hey, that's still nothing. But no, you make those moves. You make those moves, continue to move up. We had 3 6th rounders this year. We used one of them to help with the Stephon Diggs trade. So they matter. They do matter. They do count for something. And I think Steven Hauschka is better than a 7th. I think we can get a 6th for Steven Hauschka. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. For once, it may be other teams looking to pick up some of the Bills' cuts instead of the other way around. Yeah, the Bills have been picking up other teams' scraps for a long time. Now it's going to be the other way around. But what Brandon Beane does better than a lot of the GMs out there is he trades the guys that he's going to cut anyway. Trades the guys for the guys he's going to cut anyway and gets something for them. Again, even if it's a 7th round pick, it's something. And I really appreciate that. I think that's great. And hope to see that again this season. But again, guys, thank you. We damn near might not have a practice squad. Oh, we'll have a practice squad. We'll have a practice squad. It's going to be probably the best practice squad in the league. But again, guys, thank you for joining me on this edition of Billievers Talk. Again, we go live every Thursday at 9:30. So make sure you're joining me. If you haven't already subscribed to Billievers Talk, do we keep DeMarco? I don't think we do. We have we picked up a fullback during unrestricted or undrafted free agency. So I think that we don't keep DeMarco, we keep this other guy. But I think we do keep a fullback. I think we keep a fullback, and as was talked about on the Dan show yesterday, I think that hurts the guy from London. I can't remember his name right now, and you guys are going to remind me about it. Hopefully I'll remember before you guys have to remind me about it. But it affects his chance of making the roster. You know, I don't think he's going to make the roster. I think that it's a good story. And again, that preseason run last year, great run. But I just don't think he's going to make the roster. And I think the same about Duke Williams, too, the wide receiver. I think a great story. Love to see him succeed. Love to see him make the practice squad. But I just don't think he's going to make the roster. Our wide receiver room is now just too deep. You look at the 2 that we drafted. You look at Stephon Diggs. You look at John Brown. You look at Cole Beasley. You look at Isaiah McKenzie. You look at Robert Foster, Raymond McLeod. Like, it's just too full. 11 wide receivers. Some of them are going to have to go. Some of the good ones. Christian Wade, by the way, was the running back. I know someone's going to say it before it comes up because of the delay. But I remembered it before. Someone had to tell me who it was. But yeah, so I think that that's going to happen. I think that's going to be a rough one. Hauschka has no trade value. If the Bills make him available for a trade, other teams will know Bass beat him out and will wait for the Bills to cut him. What if a team calls ahead and says, hey, which one are you keeping? And could we trade for the other one? Right? I mean, maybe you're right, though. Maybe there's no trade value there because you know the other guy's getting cut. But the problem with someone getting cut is then they get to choose what team they go to. Right? If I'm the Chicago Bears, who, by the way, have a terrible history with kickers, if I'm the Chicago Bears, I don't want you to get cut if I need you. I need a kicker. I trust Steven Hauschka. I don't trust Robbie Gould anymore, or whoever the hell they have, right? On the road, that is something big. That's a winner, says Tony B. Tony B, I like the comment, and Daniel does too. But let me get to Daniel's comment. Let me finish my thought there, and then we'll get to Tony B's. There is trade value there, because if you call Buffalo, and Buffalo says, hey, we're going with Bass, and Bass beat him out, Hauschka's going to be hitting the free agent market. When Hauschka's a free agent, he can choose what team he goes to. I want to go to San Fran, or Florida, or Arizona. I'm old. Arthritis. This is terrible. Get off my lawn. When was the last time a team traded for a kicker? I bet you it happened last season, Daniel. Hold on. I bet you it happened last season. Let's get to it. Awesome. August 11th, 2019. Here we go, Daniel. Norwegian kicker Kare Vedvik is joining the Vikings 3 days after Vedvik's lights-out preseason performance. The Baltimore Ravens announced Sunday they traded the 25-year-old special teamer to the Minnesota Vikings. NFL insider Ian Rappaport reported Minnesota will send back a 2020 fifth-round draft pick. Is Stephen Hauschka better than Kare Vedvik? Maybe. Possibly. I think so. Thanks, Daniel. That was fun. That was the last time someone traded for a kicker. So, but Tony B, let's get to your comment, man. Let's get to your comment. And Daniel, I love you. You know I love you. So, cheers. Tony B comes in and says, Allen was 6-2 on the road last season. That is something big. That's a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And even though he was the starting quarterback for that Jets game, he played 2 series, I believe. I'm sorry. I can't even keep going. But yeah, he was 5-3 or 5. I should say 4-3 at home. So a winning record on the road, winning record at home, in my opinion. With this pandemic, if players report out of shape, what will they do? They'll get cut. Hauschka is a lot older, so he's not fit. That's why he's a 7th. That's why he's not 5th. He's a 7th. But we can also trade Bass too, right? Because Bass is younger. So if they both do well in the preseason, let's say, you know what? That's a great point. What if Bass is the next Vedvik? Then we just drafted a 6th-round pick in less than a year. We made a 5th-round pick. Not bad deal, right? I mean, so that's the kind of stuff that can happen. And to your point, Daniel, Hauschka would be worth a whole heck of a lot more money too, right? Because you figure Vedvik was on his rookie contract as a kicker, probably a lot less than, what would it be, $3 million or $2.5 million owned to Stephen Hauschka. So I'm not saying you're wrong, okay? I'm not saying you're wrong. But let's pretend Hauschka wins out. And then Bass is on the trade market. He might have more value than Stephen Hauschka. Let him have a good preseason. Put him in there for a bunch of 20 to 30, 40 yarders. Make him, and then just say, yeah, he's on the trade market. See what you get for him. Get 5th for him. Maybe even get a late 4th for him. Who knows? Did we forget about Hausch Money can that's actually how he got his nickname. Can return kicks. I did not know Hausch Money could return kicks. I forgot about that, Truth Hearts. But another thing about Bass is he's a special teams. He a lot of touchbacks in his college career, right? He kicked a lot of balls into the end zone. Stephen Hauschka not doing that so much. And you know what? Someone brought this to my attention too, and it's very possible the Buffalo Bills could use one of those extra 2 roster spots for 2 kickers. Have a kicker that kicks simply the field goals between 40 and under, and then have a guy simply for the kickoffs and for long field goals. I mean, it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's a good possibility. I won't like it, but it's a possibility. Who knows what you're going to use those extra 2 roster spots for? Allen on the road in primetime is lethal. Does not look good for the Pats or Niners. I would love to win those 2 games. I would love to win all these games. I would love to go 16-0. If we beat the Pats and Niners on the road Monday night, both of them, man, it's gonna. I mean, unless we go 2-14, then it's not gonna be so good. But man, this league might be in trouble. We might be looking at a good team for a long time. Now, again, to do what the Patriots did, it's gonna take a lot of work. Right? It's never been done before. I don't think it's gonna be done right after. But in order to try to do that, it's gonna be tough. But also, why not try start a 4-year dynasty, 5-year dynasty? We'll see. The Bills are not carrying 2 kickers. I hope not. I hope they do that. But hey, why not? Why not look at all the possibilities? And guys, maybe I've had too much to drink. Very possible. Hey, Jonathan, how you doing? Good to see you in here. I didn't agree to that. I didn't know. I don't know. I'm not drunk. Just inebriated. Ha! I can still say the word, so it must not be that bad. But anyhow, guys, thank you for joining me on Billievers Talk. My name is Joe. If you're new to this channel, guys, hit that subscribe button. Again, we go live every Thursday at 9:30, whether we have something to talk about or not, or if we're just BSing. So thank you for joining me. I always appreciate it. Thank you for the $10 donation earlier. I appreciate that. Again, all the proceeds from the Super Chat go back into this channel. So I'm going to call it a night here, guys. Again, I always appreciate hanging out with you guys on these Thursdays. So make sure if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment if you're replaying this video. Leave a comment. Always like getting back to you guys. So yeah, again, Bills looking to hopefully have a great 2020. I look forward to spending it with you guys. Thank you for joining me. No. I don't drink light beer. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Billievers Talk. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.